I
Yes,
can
yes.
go ahead.
Fantastic. Awesome. Well, Pat, thank you so very much to join the author's table this morning. It's wonderful to have you.
Oh, well, I really appreciate being here.
Of course, absolutely. Now, Pat, what was your inspiration to become an author?
Oh boy. I started out in theater world, and I was an actress, director, and then moved into playwriting.
Hmm.
So that was really special to me. I really enjoyed doing that. And I later also started writing murder mystery dinner theater plays. I ran a murder mystery dinner theater company. And so that was where I was heading. And I never, ever imagined I was going to do anything else.
It's weird how that turns around, isn't it?
It really is very unusual.
Yes.
How, yeah, it's sort of like, how did I get here from? How did I do that? But while I was in the theater world, I heard a story about a little girl during the Holocaust. So I wrote a monologue about it and put it aside. I ended up moving into directing and producing more, so I wasn't doing as much acting. And I put it aside and put it aside. And decades later, shall I say decades later? Yes. I moved down to Florida
Hmm.
and I decided I want to try writing something differently. So I went to a writing critique group and I needed something. And I found that piece of paper that
Hmm.
was written on with the old typewriter and pulled it out and said, I'm going to turn this into a short story. And that's how it started, which was fascinating to
Absolutely.
just see it progress. And from
Yes.
that, a book. And
Yes. You know, as a storyteller and exploring the knowledge behind the obvious, what draws you to find answers out of chaos, Pat?
and that's really interesting because I'm also a therapist,
Yes.
a psychologist.
Yes.
So looking through the eyes of a world where there's always something going on in the world in general, in society, in our
Hmm.
homes, in our lives, and inside of us personally,
Absolutely.
I really like to pull from internally about and explore how people develop a resilience to move forward. Can they? Do they
Hmm.
have that ability? Did they get stuck? What types of skills do they have? What types of skills do they need? What can they learn?
Hmm.
And obviously, with both of my stories, with the crystal beads, this mother has to give up a child, and bring her to a convent in order for her to be safe. So the sacrifice
Hmm.
and what that involves and what the little girl went through. And in my other story that takes place during the Vietnam era,
Right.
there's conflict of two cousins that one is gung-ho GI Joe from the day he was born with combat boots on. It just so happened it was right during the Vietnam War, and the girl was just anti-war, protests and everything. And you have a conflict going, and so how do you resolve that? Can you? What's it like to love someone and care about somebody, but totally disagree with them?
That's right.
And still get through that. So I liked to explore the inner workings of people because it doesn't matter what decade you're in, it doesn't matter what century you're in. The human emotions are still there.
That's
They're
correct.
still the same. You're going to go through it, regardless of what the story is.
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing too. You know, you have a family that has views on one party and then the other party and that conflict. But yet
So,
but yet, you know, it tears everybody apart. But yet you
yeah,
should just, you know, if they have their opinion, that's fine, let it go. And you know, it's unfortunate, but you're right. It's just
right.
that you have to just you know, find that, you know, I still love you, but you know, that kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
it's difficult.
And it was very difficult writing the
Yes,
Vietnam book as we look at our world today. I really
absolutely.
had to look at how do I get these two to see past those differences
Yes,
to still care about each other.
absolutely right.
Um,
Yes,
so that was really important to do.
I bet you that put you through the test too, didn't it?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And you know, also as a therapist, you know, a lot of what I who I see right now are dealing with conflicts within the family
Sure.
because of differences.
Mm-hmm.
So can we see that? Can we put that aside? Because that is a part of who we are, but we are so much more.
That's correct. Absolutely right. Well said. Now, do you think? Now, I was going to say, like, what do you consider your writing style to be, Pat? And what makes your writing style stand out above the rest?
Oh boy.
Another
Um,
test.
wait, yes, okay. Well, actually, coming from the world of theater,
Mm-hmm.
as an actress, you're trained to look inside yourself and you become this character.
Yes.
So you're feeling it internally. So, and you're doing a lot of improv too. I studied a lot of improv and everything. So I'm not the plotter, the one who is going to write down, here is where my story is going to go. I go where the character dictates.
Mm.
And it's really interesting because sometimes I might be writing because I'll step into that character. I might be writing and the character say, "You're not going there," and that's exactly what happened with all the broken angels. I was writing it, and the leading male in the story, Albie, said, "You're not going there," and I went.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting about that is because I didn't want to take him because Albie is based on a real character. It's semi-autobiographical. The
Yes.
girl is me, and Albie is my cousin. And I wanted to take him in one direction, and he said no. And I okay. If you did get that strange, but truthfully, he did. We were taking a walk one day, and I would walk with my characters, and people probably thought I was a little crazy because I'd be talking to them.
Well, that's
About
how
that.
you become your character, though.
That's you become your character, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And he said no. And the interesting thing is, I followed then his real story because I was actually taking him in a different direction
Mm.
than what really happened. And it clicked when I realized I had to tell the real story.
There you go. Yeah.
And it was like, whoa,
Yes.
okay. So they really do dictate. And in general, I will have the idea of the story, but the characters drive me. I use a psychological arc and like a story arc. So basically, I look at the human development. Where will that character go?
Yeah. You have
Um,
like sort of like a
yeah,
the best of both worlds kind of. You know, if you
yeah,
if you want to call it the best of both worlds, but you have you can see both sides of it,
yeah.
and that's a gift by itself.
I really do think it is, and it's something I also teach. Because I try to teach writers, sinuses, bear with me. I try to teach writers to really allow that freedom
Mm-hmm.
to open up and explore past a boundary they might set. Examine that creativity,
Absolutely.
push and explore. Look at where somebody naturally is going to go. Where are they stuck? What pushes them forward? And give them challenges in the stories. Allow them that chance to grow or not, because there are people who are don't.
That's correct.
There are people who stay there. So you push them in a way like I do with my clients
Yes.
to where they are, and then you gently nudge and you see, will they go here? Can they go here? Are they ready?
That's
So
wonderful though. You can it's like almost any profession. If you push that individual because you know either they can do it, but they're afraid to do that, but that's how they explore that realm. And you'll know when they get there if they're ready or not too.
exactly, and that's the lessons in the book for everyone to learn from, because
Right.
we all have parts of ourselves through these characters. We all go through challenges. We
That's
all
correct.
go through things that are difficult. And what are our choices? How can we make those choices? So I hope to educate, even though it's fiction, and it's even though it's based on real life, this fiction, but there's room for growth in it. And if other people have done this, can I learn from this character or that character?
Very nice. Now, do you
Yeah.
think from your professional background, Pat, it was easy for you to create these stories for the reader and have a connection with the powerful message?
The the first one, I was working on both books at the same time, but All
Okay.
the Broken Angels took a lot longer, and I had a co-writer into it too.
Yes.
Um, the children's book, yeah, I call it a children's book because it is a picture book, but really it was written as a short story, and I kept a lot of the same language. And it
Mm-hmm.
was written from the viewpoint of a 6-year old that just turned 7. So I did know th- what that story was going to be, but I
Mm-hmm.
had to figure out how to get it there. And I had to figure out how I could get it there so that younger children
Mm-hmm.
could hear a message that is rather difficult,
Right.
but psychologically use the skills to, so because when it became stressful, how would a young child
Mm-hmm.
handle that?
That's right.
So I stepped into this body of this child and thought about how would she handle it? How would a reader handle it? Going through, traumatic experiences, being confronted by people who are about to kill her,
That,
who want to kill her,
that's correct. Yes.
so, and it's a picture book, but it really is geared much more for fifth grade and older. So, but I made it into a picture book because I didn't want to make the story any longer. But so I had to really use my
Mm-hmm.
background
Yes.
to create that and leave it at a level that's comfortable.
That's right.
Hard,
That's right.
very
Oh yes. Especially for, well, like you said, for children, the visuals they can relate to, and for the subject matter, of course, is very difficult, and for them to understand without getting very detailed, the pictures can tell
yes,
everything, too,
yes,
for them.
yes, they do. And what was really amazing is the illustrator. I found an illustrator whose grandfather was a Holocaust
Mm.
survivor. And that made the book even more
Mm-hmm.
powerful.
Yes.
Her artwork was brilliant, was absolutely brilliant. And that helped tremendously. His story was so powerful that I added his story in the afterword of the book so that readers could hear a survivor tell a story right now because there's a disconnect. We're in Second World War. I'm trying to convey a message to today's kids.
Right.
So how do I reach that divide? Reach it by bringing a survivor in the afterward and have him tell his real story.
Gives me
So that
chills
that
just thinking
helped.
about it.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was very bad. He recently passed. Sadly, he lived in Russia. He just recently passed, but and he was an amazing, amazing man. But I felt like I had to honor him.
Absolutely, of course. Now, as a published author, Pat, now of two very fine books, what has been your biggest reward?
Shit, I love doing presentations. I love talking to people. I love connecting to readers. And when they say, it's not like, oh, this is a great book. It's like, no, it's when the message
Mm-hmm. Right.
is delivered.
That's right.
That's where the power of it is. I learned something. I understood. I see this. I didn't know about that. Wow, that happened. That really happened. And the types of discussions that
Right.
you could have with groups about these
Absolutely.
times in history. And teaching sort of folks in a way to embrace history and not think of it as something that's stodgy. My co-author and I very carefully went through the draft lottery of 1969 that was on TV. And it was so hard. Can you imagine? It's a draft lottery, and it's going to determine your fate. It really is going to determine your fate. And younger readers would say, "Oh, come on, that
Yeah.
didn't really happen."
Yes, it
So
did.
they got to learn
Yes.
what it was like and imagine themselves sitting in a living room waiting for their birthday to be called.
Mm.
So teaching history in a creative, readable way and not necessarily a stodgy textbook, because I didn't buy the textbooks. I mean, I was a horrible history student. But when you can create it and bring it to life
That's right.
so that you can live it
That's
through the
right.
story,
That's
it's
right.
the message. Not like, oh, this is a great book. No, no. Did you get something from it? Are you taking something away? Could it help you?
That's correct. Absolutely. That's where it's the power of communication.
Yes. Yes.
it's the, like you said, the getting in front of people and telling the story. It means so much though, because even for someone maybe that was there, even,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, it, because I've seen it too, that when someone tells the story and that person was there, and it sort of brings them back and it can bring them to tears, just of the fact,
Oh
maybe
my gosh.
maybe of not just the devastation or the tragedy, but the fact that they're listening to someone tell this story, in a different light possibly, but it just brings all the emotions, and just the fact that someone is continuing really what happened,
Yes.
and not
Yes.
forgotten.
And it brings back memories, tough memories and good memories,
That's right, absolutely.
and it's fascinating because when I do book clubs and they'll say, yes, I remember this, I remember what that was like, I remember sitting in that living room with my brother, my sister, and my dad, or
Yes.
whatever, or
Yep.
or any parts of it. I was right there, I was at the peace march, or I was there, in
Absolutely.
so many different ways that and because you're always scared when you're writing about something that's real.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, am I getting this right? Oh my God, maybe I'm not getting it. What if I'm like, so the investment in the research time is incredible.
Absolutely.
In one of the story, in the Holocaust story, I went up to Philadelphia to speak to a group called 3G, which is the third generation Holocaust survivors.
Mm.
And in there was a survivor herself, so first generation. And she said to me, and I was nervous because she was in the Holocaust as a little child. And she says, "Oh, yeah, that's exactly what happened. It's like, that was exactly it. I
Mm.
had to become different. I had to change my name this day. I had to change this." And I was touched by a woman who
Mm-hmm.
could relate so personally, and to know that I could honor her because I could tell the story accurately.
Absolutely. That's a wonderful feeling though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you just be blown away.
Yeah.
You know. Now let's talk about your book. Now, can I mention the co-author's name?
Oh,
Oh,
absolutely. Please.
okay.
Yes.
That's Steve Hardiman.
Steve Hardiman.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Which the backdrop of this book is known as the countercultural decade of the '60s. Now, as you know, and myself, there was a lot of events going on during that time. We had the Vietnam War, we had the JFK assassination, we
Mm-hmm.
had the Woodstock Festival, and then we
Mm-hmm.
had the it was the Cultural Revolution, and there was a lot of other events, of course. And now your book is called All Broken Angels. So Pat, who is Kate and Albie?
Okay, so Kate is me.
Mm-hmm.
Way more outspoken than me. um, yeah, and to me, maybe I wish I was. But and Albie really is my cousin. And
Mm-hmm.
but what I did, my real cousin was older. I made him the same age because I
Ah,
wanted them
okay.
to grow up together in a kind of a very strict Catholic household. And he was gung ho GI Joe, and very, and was fine with being in school, and was smart. She'd ask questions of the nuns. It was a Catholic school, and she couldn't. It was like, wait a minute, I don't understand this. Can you explain this? And Albie just says, just take this, just accept it, just accept it. And so you see them
Oh
go
yeah.
through all their young years together, and then as they become teens, he's heading in the direction of being military
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to go into the war of love of God in his country, honorable. It just is that war. And she's, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. Not right now. So you see them and how their paths differ and how they move as he moves forward and she moves forward,
Mm-hmm.
and is trying to find who her life is, because all of that, the women's movements, everything that was happening. So we cover all of it. That's why the book is so long. We cover all of it, and what was life like for
Mm-hmm.
her versus for him.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes.
he wasn't happy about what she was doing, and she wasn't happy about what he was doing. So they had to find a way to still care about each other, but move through that time with their different beliefs. And she's at home trying to figure out what's life for a young woman who's taught, you get to be 18 or 19, you just go and you get married and then
Right.
and you have a happy, and that's not what she wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So she had to find where her place was. And when a circumstance changes everything, and as she met veterans, her life changed and she found a path for
Yes.
herself. She gets up. I worked with veterans as a psychologist, and my passion was with Vietnam veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to share their stories in the book. So she hears these stories and gets to understand what it was like for them.
Yeah, I think yeah, that's just that message by itself, because that's happened to so many families.
Yes.
Even today, even just with things going on today and how the government is, and people's views and stuff. So there's going to be this conflict,
Yes.
and especially like during the '60s with there's so much going on at that time too, and when you have family members that are you know they have they're parting, and it's a difficult thing because you want them to be you know the same as you know and but yeah, and I think it's a powerful message, and and I think it's something that everybody needs to also be aware of, not just of the negativity, or it's just the support is probably the other thing that
Yes.
it can fall between the cracks. It's all
Yes.
it's always the negativity that people want to bring out first.
Yes.
you know
Yes. Yeah.
and did you have that as well, Pat, or not so much of the negativity?
Negativity you mean in the book, or do you mean?
Just in general, of because when you wrote your book and putting it together. Now, was there any type of like, it's like, well, do you really want to write this, or was it all support?
I really felt a lot of support.
Good.
I didn't get it, and I said I brought in Steve, who just, who was really helpful. I had a lot of it written ready of the younger years,
Yes.
and he popped in and he just helped me like just fine tune and really move through that. And I felt like we got a good amount of support. I think if there was concerns probably came from us,
Yes.
that it mirrored so much of what was going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do we stay? The book does not pick a side. The book, like a therapist, I don't pick sides with my
Right.
clients. I
Yes.
offer this side and that side. The book explores his side, her side, the family side, how they felt. It we kept it on very much of a balance.
Yes.
The, and that to me was important
Mm-hmm.
because it's not it was looking at both sides, because I think that the problem is when we talk about that negativity is we nowadays it seems like we are only learn one
Right.
side, you're only tuned in to one side. So the idea was to be open
That's right. Yeah, I
and,
think.
and create both sides of the story evenly. And Steve was really good at doing that research and backing up. Albie believed this, and here is his foundation. Here is where that comes from. And Kate believed this, and and then you put both out there, and you let the people,
That's right.
the readers.
Absolutely. I think that becomes a better, well-read material
Yes.
than just going one direction.
Oh yeah. And it wouldn't have been real because
That's right. Well
yeah,
said. Well
yeah.
said. Yeah. Now your next book. It's a children's book which is educational and provides a powerful history element for the reader while demonstrating bravery. And now your book is called The Crystal Beads. Now
Yeah.
Lauka's journey. Now who is Lauka?
Okay, so Lalka, the name Lalka is the little girl who was the hidden child of the Holocaust. Lalka means doll in Polish. It was a nickname. The reason I chose a nickname was I wanted to know that she represents all children
Mm-hmm.
that were in the Holocaust. So I
Mm-hmm.
specifically did not give her the name or the mother a name. I just say mother and Lalka because they represent everyone,
Everyone. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
everyone. And so I heard the story, and I'm from a rabbi. And when he went through it, I heard just a little bit about a little girl whose mother sent her to a convent school to keep her safe during the Holocaust. And I realized I have to find a way to make that work, to express the story, and the idea of how do I keep her alive? Who's there to support her? And what does it mean to sacrifice? And as the mother made a big sacrifice,
Absolutely.
and the child is super young, and so mom decides she's going to teach the little girl a game. And the little girl wears a Star of David necklace from a father who passed. And the mom says, I am going to have to take that from you right now. And I'm going to have to give you this rosary,
Mm.
which is the crystal beads.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to learn prayers, and you're going to learn things that are going to help you stay safe. And the little girl didn't know anything other than she had to play this game.
Right.
So that was how the mother, that was me psychologically saying, how do I bring that to life through these symbols, this symbolism?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to just sort of change your identity. How do you tell that to a 6-year-old? And she's confronted by bad guys and has to figure out how much of that game she learned and played, whether she makes it or not. Um, and through that, there is a nun that the mother puts her in the hands of. And the mother questions the nun and says, you're taking her in, you're at risk too because you're taking her. And she says, inside we're all the same because what unites us is stronger than what divides us. So I'm willing to do this to keep her safe. So
Yeah.
again, it's that message of,
Yes.
in some ways, in the same book, in that sense of we're stronger than what divides us.
That's correct.
So those messages come across. So that's how that happened. I think I mentioned I had an illustrator who was a third generation
Yes.
Holocaust survivor, making it even more special.
That's a powerful message, though. Just that alone.
Yes, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it is. Yes.
yeah.
Now, what? Now the illustrator, um, like did was there like or how did the illustrator, did they give you like little like sketches and stuff, and then you sort of chose what you wanted, Pat, or how?
It was so, I found her on Instagram.
Oh.
I couldn't, I didn't know what I was looking for. And I wanted somebody who was going to give me a feel of a generation. I knew
Ah.
nothing about art, never thought of writing a kid's book, knew nothing about artwork. I knew I wanted a feel.
Mm-hmm.
And so given that she's from Siberia, her and her grandfather from Siberia, and she moved to Israel. She did not speak English. So everything was had to be communicated through, translate.
Okay.
And I just said, I just want to feel of that girl. And it was like, you have to give up part of yourself when you're turning over. Because I had no idea what she looked like. I had no clue. She created some sketches. And as she did that, I'm going, oh my God, yes, yes. And she looked at what color palettes can we use and what works. And it starts on her birthday, so it's bright and
Yes.
shiny. And she holds up these crystal beads in front of the window, and they're dancing. The colors are dancing like rainbows. And then it moves into the darkness. So we looked at color palettes throughout the book
Very
as
nice.
it changes, and getting the characters. And even when the bad men come in, how do you create this but still also realize young kids are going to be looking at this? Is this okay? So we had to have a lot of conversations in terms of protection and safety from the psychological lens.
Yes. Because
You know,
I see the book on your shelf.
oh yeah,
It's
it
beautiful.
is so amazingly beautiful. I'm blown away by it. Everyone just gets blown away by it.
It's the art of expression.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be words.
Right,
Like they always say, pictures say
right.
a thousand words.
Yeah, yeah.
And it does. And obviously the artist too has to have that passion too to express it and have someone else look at it and feel the same.
Yes.
and that's it's a powerful image.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so was the crystal beads too. I can see that in the back too.
Yeah.
It's because when you look at it, you can see there's some type of like journey,
Yes.
you know,
Exactly.
and
That was
it's
yeah.
mm-hmm. And I
Yes. It was.
and so just and I think the covers of an author's book should be powerful enough, or even colors visually to entice someone to say, oh, I like that, I'm gonna go over there and look at it, you know.
And that's hard to create. It is really hard for us as authors to try to tell the
Yes.
illustrator, the book cover designer, what we want. I'm at a loss. It's not the language. I don't speak that. I don't speak art.
Yeah.
But in both cases, the Broken Angels, all the
Hmm.
Broken Angels, she's from Barcelona. The designer's from Barcelona. We found her, and as I said, the
Yes.
Crystal Beads was Siberia
Yes.
and then Israel. So it's we just found people out of the country,
Yeah,
you know.
but it caught your attention though.
Yes, yes.
And like you said though, when you're sort of like shopping for a visual, or maybe a
Yeah.
style or something that caught your attention, that you really like to pursue this person longer to have on your cover. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously it spoke to you.
Yes.
And I think that's wonderful because not everybody can do it themselves. So when you're
Oh,
out
yeah.
there looking, you have to find this artist that can express what you're looking for and tells the story just by looking at the cover.
Just by looking at a cover. Hard, hard, hard,
Yes, it
hard,
is. Yes,
hard.
absolutely. But I think it came across very nicely and very well.
Oh, thank you.
Well, of
Thank you.
course, absolutely. And it's very nice because it's not easy to do. Because I've been
Hmm.
in the advertising and graphic design so for a long time,
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah, yeah.
I understand you try to find balance and a message, you know,
Hmm.
and so it's wonderful that you found that, and I'm glad that it's working for you because that's important,
Yes, very
because
much so.
a book, a lot of authors may think, well, I'm just going to write a book, but it's an extension of you because it's your brand.
Yes,
You know,
exactly.
it's sort of
Exactly.
like a business. You're out there selling a product.
It has to speak for you.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, Pat, are you a self-publisher or do you have a publisher?
The Crystal Beads was published by Purple Butterfly Press, which is
Okay,
part of Women in Publishing, a group that's really near and dear to my heart. Um, that was the first one, and I really appreciated, their help. So it was hybrid. And all the Broken Angels, we decided to self-publish, which is like going back to school to get a degree,
yes.
to
Oh yeah,
trying to figure out how to do all that. So
yeah. It's a
that
lot of
was a
work.
lot of work. That was
Yes,
a
yes.
lot of work. So
Yeah,
it took us a
because
while.
when you're a self-publisher, you're pretty much doing it all.
Yeah,
Well, even if you have a publisher, sometimes you sort of have to
you're
do it.
still heading. You're still picking up on a lot of the marketing end of it, and you're still doing a lot of it. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah.
Now,
So
now, are you happy with the publisher that for the one book
for the
or?
crystal beads,
Yes.
I think that they did a very, very good job. And at that point, being the first book, I didn't have a clue. So I think they did a really good job of bringing it to the stage that it needed to get to.
Mm-hmm.
And even years later, they still help with some of the marketing and everything, and it's still out there. And just we're just pretty much connected
Nice.
in general as a group, and that
That helps
really
a lot
nice.
too.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Now, are you currently working on any other books, Pat?
Yeah.
Ah.
I thought I was going to take a I thought I was going to take a breather. Oh, I thought I was going to take a breather because they were exhausting trying to get both of them out there. The new one, A Quiet Kind of Loud, is probably going to take off around 1976 on a little bit, and I'm going to keep it set in New York where I was, and is going to continue the women's movement story as time progressed from the 70s to early 80s,
Hmm.
and is also going to look at a woman who just went through things throughout life where she wasn't able to speak, and she had to hold back. There's a lot of stuff emotionally, and she becomes an actress, and but she has a lot of trouble communicating, and she knows something's happened in her life. Something happened to her dad very early on, and she's going to connect with other people in an environment that are struggling too. Vets are just coming back from Vietnam right now. And at that time, their voices were held in. They were
Mm-hmm.
struggling to find their voices. Um, she works with inner city kids who are struggling to find out who they are and where their role is in the world. And the LGBTQ community is just starting to find a voice and have a place. So it's people sort of trying to become aware of who they are and what they are, and just continuing to find their voices, all and
That's
merging at the same time. And there's also another Holocaust survivor in that too. So I kind of bring both.
well, that's okay. I love your
Yeah.
pattern, Pat. I love it though because it's I think it's a passion of yours,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think it's wonderful to bring that out for others to learn from, and maybe even relate to,
I
because
think so.
'cause you
I
never
think so.
know.
Yeah.
It's I think that's wonderful about being an author. Because you or even when like for example your speaking engagements and so on, you'd be surprised though when you're up there talking that people are really understanding what you're saying and relating to it. Even
Yes.
for myself doing the same thing, it's like you don't know who you're talking to and who's really saying, yeah, I do. I was there. I understand it, and then coming to you maybe later on and say, thank you, you know.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Some of the talks after the presentations,
yes,
oh, that were like that would come. They would come to me and say, "I'd like to talk to you,"
absolutely.
and I learn from them. They're sharing. I know they've taken something away, and they're giving me something.
Absolutely. It's
And
a
and and
mhm.
part the new book is going to be, it keeps some minor characters in, so that there will be a continuation of that, so that I'm hoping some of those people who got something
Right.
from the second book, will take away and then continue the story for them, so I can give them more.
It's wonderful though, isn't it, to touch others?
Mhm. It
You know.
really, that was something I was just really unfamiliar. Through theater, I
Yes.
was able to
Yes.
do that in one way, and this way, but I wasn't in the psychology world when I was doing the theater. Now, seeing it from a psychology perspective and knowing that I've given someone something that they can take with them
That's
that
right.
means something to them.
Absolutely.
What a gift.
Yes. That's right. And the thing too is that we all have gifts, but not everybody can or understand they have it. They haven't found it.
Yeah, yeah,
And sometimes
yeah.
like for yourself and myself, when we're out there, maybe we are touching their gift, and then
Hmm.
and then a little bulb goes on and say, yeah, you're right. You know, it,
Yeah.
you just never know the direction where maybe someone is going into a wrong path, but then
Hmm.
we change
Hmm.
that path for them. You just don't know.
There's nothing like that light bulb.
That's right. Absolutely.
And there be some light bulbs going on that we don't know about, because we can only deal with the
That's
people that we have been,
it is a wonderful
yeah,
gift, and
yeah,
it feels good too.
it
That
does.
that you can actually change somebody like
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
wonderful. Now, Pat, do you have a website?
Yes, it's patblackgould.com,
Okay.
and that can be reached there, as well as my email, patblackgould@patblackgould.com, which was a long email and stupid of me to create, but and on Amazon you can find my books under my name as
And,
well.
and now, do you have also different formats of your books?
Yes, I do have a paperback, and ebook for both,
Okay.
and Crystal Beads has a hardcover too.
Nice. Very nice.
Uh, yeah,
Now,
no audiobook. We'd love to get to an audiobook for that, all the Broken Angels, but haven't gotten there yet. A
no,
lot of work.
yes, it is. It's a lot of work, but it can be done.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Now, lastly, now what is your message to the audience today about uh, possibly like how to market your book, and maybe like for someone that doesn't know how to begin?
I guess a truthful message in the sense of connect with writing groups, connect with people,
Mm-hmm.
and open the ideas to explore different types of marketing. I took all the crystal beads and we turned it into a stage presentation with music and dance. Think outside the box if you need to. All the broken angels is going to be turned into some scenes that are going to be acted out. Think outside the box of what you can do. Create some artwork or create something that you have in addition to what you might be doing. But have that ability to try to be creative with your
Right.
presentations as well. I teach classes on how to give creative presentations.
Oh,
So
excellent. That is
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So that allows you to really look at thinking about marketing while you are still writing your book because it could actually impact it in a way that might help you develop something more to your book, the types of questions you might use, various different things that you might add to it. I didn't even realize I was going to be putting in a survivor story, but as soon as I realized I had a survivor story,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to put that in the afterword. And then as I'm marketing, I'm saying, you're hearing this. It's a fictionalized story based on a true story, but you're also hearing a real survivor's voice in here, plus a lot of other things we don't have time to get into. But the idea is as you're writing, be creative in the writing process
That's
that
right.
allows you to open some more doors.
Well said. I think that's that's
Right?
that's excellent though. Because I've talked to authors too where they have different ways of writing. Some of them just let it go, let it, just write, or they actually edit as they go. So everybody has their way
Hmm.
of doing it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but your approach too is actually not just the writing, but think about, well, you're writing the story. Well, maybe if I do like what you're doing with a play option, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
that's like a whole different
Yep.
dimension of what you're writing. I think that's another
Yep.
powerful approach.
It really is. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, plus too with your
Mhm.
background, that's a big plus too by
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah. And my son wrote a song to go with all the broken angels. So when
Hmm.
I do marketing and I put the book up, I include that. Now there's also a song for the crystal beads that a woman wrote, a composer wrote. So that goes up with the marketing too. So if you have someone, that is creative,
Oh yeah.
eh, collaboration is really very helpful.
Oh, that's
So
yes.
think of how you can collaborate with others in different fields, and see if they can help you create some different ways of
Yes.
working with your book.
Connections, right?
Yeah, it helps. It
Yes,
helps.
yes, it does. Well, Pat, this has been fantastic, and I loved hearing about you and your stories, and I wish you the very best, and I'm so grateful that you're on the program today.
Oh, I thank you so much. I had a wonderful time speaking with you. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, of course, and I wish you the very best, and please keep me in the loop when you
I would
get.
love to.
Yeah, I'd love to get you back on the program so we can talk about your other one.
Wonderful. Thank you.
And also your if when it goes into a play version, I would love to. I would love
Number two,
to.
sounds good to me.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Pat, and you have a wonderful day.
You too now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.